Morning, Friday, September 26th, 2025. Larissa, drinking from skulls. Drinking from skulls. Here we are. Here we are with my fatness, fat bitch diary. Here we are. So, yesterday, oh my God. Yesterday, my house was almost robbed. If I hadn't been home, I probably would have come home to a dead dog and a looted house. And there's like no point in calling the police because they don't do anything. No, so yesterday, a truck and a van show up in my driveway, and my dog's like having a fit, and they both were for an exterminating company, supposedly, right? But they were from different companies. The truck said Terminix on it, but it doesn't look like the Terminix trucks that you see driving around out there. And the other one was from some other company, right? That I didn't recognize the name. Neither of them had phone numbers on the side of the trucks, right? And when I went out, I was like, hey, they were like surprised that someone was home. So if you're in Santa Cruz County, new scam. Yeah. And I also, after that, then got an email of somebody looking to clean my gallery for me. Yeah. Like I'm going to pay someone to come in and clean my one toilet that only I use. Right? No. Uh-uh. No. Not going to happen. Ugh. So I tried my hand at puff pastry yesterday. And for a first attempt, it went well. And, I did things specifically that they said not to do because I wanted to see how the shit worked, blah, 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 blah. And I got a product, at the end that was good, super buttery, but not exactly what I'd call flaky. But they're good enough, right? For a first try. Not anything I'd served like anybody else, right? Like they certainly weren't pretty, or anything. But, it was a good experiment. Yeah, I also made a loaf of chocolate peanut banana date bread. Yeah. So it's like I don't know. Call it funky monkey bread. Funky monkey bread. Yeah. I made some of that. And then I had some more fun. Yeah. So I'm done with dioramas for a little bit. I'm gonna take a break. I have made 6 comic strips with these dioramas that I've been doing. And it's like a total of like 20 pages. It's a graphic novel. It is. I think I might do a book of just all my cartoons. I think I might. I think it'll be fun. Yeah, and I listened to some UN garbage. So a boss can't even get a visa to come to this country to address the UN, right? And in his televised address, he unequivocally denounces Hamas. And then Bibi goes on and on and on and on and on, justifying his slaughter of all of those people over there. Right? Trying to justify. Basically saying that all Palestinians are Hamas. Going on and on and on about anti-Semitism and using the Bible as justification for his country and blah blah blah. I don't believe in theocracy of any kind. I don't. I don't believe in theocracy. Um, I do not believe in the killing of Jews. I do not believe in hating Jews. Um, but I also don't believe in killing and hating of anyone, right? Like, and I don't believe that being Jewish gives you a ticket to kill other people. And Jewish OBGYN gave me an abortion without my consent. My husband's Arab. So what is that? Well, I knew I was carrying twins. This was just after Omar and I were married. We were married in July, and at Christmas time, I got pregnant. And I knew I was carrying twins. I just knew. I had a dream. I had a dream that I was having twins. I just knew. And I told him, and he was like, "Oh, you can't possibly know that." Blah, 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 blah. Every time I went to go see him, I told him, I said, "I'm having twins." He's like, "Oh, Larissa, you can't know that." He was always poo-pooing me. Well, I had a miscarriage and went to the hospital, and they put me on the drip to cause the contractions for me to pass the fetus. And my body wouldn't. I was on the drip for 24 hours. And when my body didn't pass the fetus, they dilated me and cleaned out my uterus. And when I woke up, he apologized to me because the reason my body wasn't releasing the dead fetus was because there was a second fetus that was in there, and when they dilated me, they had to abort it. And when I woke up, his words to me were Mrs. DeRoog. He had never called me Mrs. DeRoog. He had only called me Larissa up until that point. "Mrs. DeRoog, I'm so sorry. When we got in there was much more tissue than we were expecting to find." And I was like, "Oh." I'm like, "Fibroids?" I'm like, I'm coming up out of anesthesia. And that's what this man is saying to me, right? That's what he's saying to me. Well, it didn't register with me what he was saying. I didn't understand. Like, I remember his words, but at the time it didn't register. I didn't understand what he was saying to me. And then when we got the paperwork in the mail for the insurance, our insurance was billed for an abortion. I'm not pro-abortion. I'm pro-choice. I'm also not anti-abortion. I'm pro-choice. And that man didn't believe me because my husband was Arab and I'm just a stupid gyp girl, right? But anti-Semitism is the problem in this world. I also have a real problem with the idea that just because as an American, I don't believe in having dual citizenship with any country. And so American Jews that go over to Israel for vacation because it's their own little private Club Med, I find that disgusting and distasteful. Do I think it means people deserve to be taken hostage? No, I don't. But it's just kind of like, now you want me to feel bad for you? I don't feel bad for the American hostages over there. You had no business going there. That's how I feel about that. And I resent my country, my government spending my tax dollars on your bullshit. You had no business going there with your special privilege of having birthright citizenship when there's people who are born on that land who are not afforded the same thing. I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for American hostages in Israel. I don't. I don't feel bad for them. Right? That's how I feel. Do I think they should be released? Yeah, because I don't believe in violence. I believe in nonviolence, right? But yeah, yeah. You're gonna go flaunt your wealth in front of an impoverished people, and then act surprised when they hurt you? Mm, no, no, right? Anyway, that's how I feel about that. That's how I feel about that. So today, today I'm going to throw in another load of laundry and go to the gallery and do some work there. And this weekend I have a couple drop-in events that hopefully somebody will come, but I don't have any expectations, right? Well, my expectation is that nobody's going to come. I'd love to be proven wrong. I enjoy being proven wrong. Um, but we'll see, won't we? You know, when I had that first miscarriage, because after since then I've had at least two more miscarriages. Um, I don't have trouble. I've never had trouble getting pregnant. For me, the problem was staying pregnant. I have a tipped uterus, um, and I get ovarian cysts, um, and my uterus is also abnormally small, um, but functioning. Whatever. But when I think back to that first miscarriage and that experience and that abortion and everything, and I think about like my anti-choice family. Where were they when that happened? Where was their righteousness and their disgust when that happened? It was nowhere to be found. They didn't give a shit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for the baby was due October 2nd. And it was like April 17th or April 19th when I had the miscarriage. Um, uh, and I had just kind of like I didn't want to be pregnant. It was my senior year of school. I didn't want to be pregnant um, at all. I did not want to have a baby. And I had just started accepting and being excited about being pregnant when I had the miscarriage. Like I had gone out and bought a couple little things. I had started like looking at baby stuff and being like, oh, maybe this will be fun, blah, 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 you know. And so the miscarriage was doubly hard for me because I had such mixed emotions over it. Like, there was a big part of me that was relieved, right? But there was also a big part of me that was like, you know, and then when I got the paperwork and realized that had I not gone into the hospital, I would have still had a baby. There's like, ah, there aren't words to describe that. There aren't words to describe that feeling. There's for me now to even it's like it is just so grotesque, right? Um, but I'm also glad. I'm also glad. So that child would have the child would have been 24 now. We've had a 24-year-old son right now. And the discrimination that I have experienced from people because I don't have children is horrendous. The rude things that people have said to me, the horrible things people have done to me in church settings, and things, and the horrible things family have said to me. I'm so glad I don't have any. So there's that. Like it's like, oh, that's horrible, that horrible experience. But man, so glad I don't have one. So it's like this man who did this horrendous thing. Like I'm also like, oh, he kind of did me a favor, I guess. So is he justified in his Jewish dislike for his Jewish hate for gypsies, for Romani people, and Arabs? Because I believe that's why he treated me the way he did. Yeah, yeah. Is he justified? Is he justified in his hate and what he did to me? Mm, it's a hard situation, right? But no, I don't feel bad for American hostages in Gaza. I don't. You had no business going.